How's it going, good people? Today's agenda, I wanted to do some work with ChatGPT to create some automated tests for the RHT Services website. Now, I have automated tests set up, but they are pretty much out of date. I recently redesigned the website because the service or the business actually offers two distinct categories of services. There's the home improvement side of the business, and then there's the technology side of the business. You're watching the videos from the technology side of the business. That being said, though, the automated tests that I previously wrote, they don't work now because the site has literally been refactored. I wanted to see if I could take the sitemap, have ChatGPT create automated tests that would then run and perform the necessary task of verifying that all of the pages that are in the sitemap can be accessed. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to the computer. What I'm going to do is go to the rhtservices.net website, and the link to the sitemap is not on the homepage. Okay, I might need to work on that for a future video. But I know the URL, so I'm gonna copy the URL. All right, so ChatGPT does not have access to the internet, at least the version that I am using. Now, if you're using ChatGPT 4, it does have internet access, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but the one I'm using, which is not the latest and greatest, does not have internet access. And even if you ask it, it will tell you it does not have internet access. Now, everything related to the business website I created, and it is in its own chat. And so this is what you see right here that I'm going to go ahead and spin up. And the reason I put it in its own chat is so that if anytime in the future I want to change things with the website, it has that history that it can go look at to see what was previously done and then make adjustments going forward. So what I'm going to do is to copy, well, I don't want to copy that, but I do want to copy everything else. So I'm going to go to copy, and then we're going to come over here and say that I want to create a automated, let's see, I don't think it really cares. I don't think ChatGPT is that picky about the grammar. Create an automated test for the website. The test, let's see, the tests need to be in C# using Selenium Webdriver. Let's see what I also have. So these are some of the existing tests that I already have, and I've been using the in-unit framework. All right, need to use the in-unit framework. Got to spell framework correctly. ORK. Let's see what else. Chrome driver is located in this particular location, so I'm going to copy this. Binary, because I need to specify the Chrome driver binary. I mean, you probably could call it executable, but since this is a window, is not a Windows system, it's actually a Linux system. Typically, the executables on a Linux system are called binaries. And the Chrome driver test, the test should maximize the window before being performed. What else do I want to have it do? The test should verify that each link in the sitemap provided can be accessed by the automated test. This test should also verify that every internal link on the page does not return a 404 not found. Now, I'm specifically stating that because I've built websites in the past, and when moving content around, I end up having an issue where some of that content no longer worked because the pages were renamed, but the links that pointed to that page or pages were not renamed. Thus, I want to make sure that because I've done this major refactoring, that everything that is in here actually does work the way it should, and that all of the internal links are working the way they should. Now, I have no control over websites that are externally linked, thus I'm not telling it to check that, although I should probably mention that if a link is external to not verify that it works. So I'll also add links that are external to the website should not be verified. Now, you're probably thinking, well, why would you not want to verify an external link? And the reason being is because content moves around. Now, I could say for the sake of making sure that all my links always work, that it should verify it. But if the link on an external site changes, I don't want it to necessarily throw an error in my particular test case. But I may change that line of thinking at a future point. Okay, so create automated tests. I want to create automated tests. The tests need to be using C# using Selenium. Webdriver, need to use in-unit, Chrome driver, binary location. And I think I got everything. Below is the sitemap for the website. Create a test for each URL. And that is not the sitemap. So we come back over here again and we will paste. That's a lot of stuff to paste. All right, and let's see what ChatGPT generates. And while we're doing that, please be sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe and also share this out. Because, you never know who may be willing to or wanting to learn these new things. ChatGPT is not doing exactly what I'm thinking it should be doing, but once it gets done generating, we'll go and review what it says. As always, additional content is on the RHT Services website, and if you have any suggestions for any video topics, by all means, please provide those here. All right, so it looks like ChatGPT has completed what it was going to do. It says to create automated tests for the website using that. What I really wanted was it to create the file, download the Chrome driver. That is not what it literally spit back what I was telling it. To create here's how to do this. You can structure a test. So it gives me an example of setup, teardown, and test. And it says so it's saying that I should provide the list of URLs here from the sitemap. But I wanted to use the sitemap instead of me providing that list. So I'll probably come back in here and change that. All right, so we'll check that. Verify internal links do not return 404. So this would need to be run for every URL. So what I would think I would need to do is okay. Adjust for reference and modifications, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is not exactly what I was looking for. I was hoping it would give me an automated test for each page. That being said, though, let's see if we can tweak it doing something different. So what I'm going to suggest is provide the code that would use Selenium Webdriver to get the XML sitemap for a website. Then, wait. Yeah, get the XML website for a sitemap. Doesn't provide the C# code. Then we get the XML sitemap for the RHT services.net/sitemap.xml. For each URL in the sitemap, typing is obviously a struggle at times. For each URL in the sitemap, I wanted to Selenium, Selenium Webdriver to go to the URL and confirm that it does not return a 404 not found. Also want to confirm that links on each page are internal links. Let's clarify that. Internal links on each page are valid and do not return 404. All right, so I just thought about something as I was typing this out. The static site generator that I use for the RHT Services website will not create a link in the sitemap for a page that does not exist. That being said, I still want Selenium Webdriver to go to the URL of each page and confirm that all of the internal links on each page are valid and do not return 404 not found. External links should not be checked. Please provide the C# code and test cases to perform PER these actions. Let's see what it spits out now, because it may do something better along the lines of what I was looking for versus not doing what I was looking for the first time. All right, so far so good. Once it generates, it does what it does. So it's checking for internal and external. All right, and need to do the packages. Got it. Is it done generating? There we go. All right, so let's start back at the top. Sure, here's an example of C# code that uses Selenium WebDriver to retrieve an XML sitemap to parse the URLs and check internal links. All right, so we got a sitemap checker class, although it probably should be named something different, but there it is. We got a static void main. All right, so that's not what I was looking for. And the reason being is because I wanted to run this as a in-unit test. So I want to go back up here and we'll do edit. Getting the sitemap, checking each page should be performed as a in-unit test. Let's see what else. All right, so get the URLs from the sitemap. So we have that here. We got to check internal links, which is private. Okay, so everything is done from the main, and then from that, looks like everything is well. Okay, so the rest of that looks fine, but I wanted to run this as in-unit test. That way, when I set this up in GitHub Actions, that it will then also run the test as well. And it will run it as automated tests. But at the same time, let's say in my development environment or local environment, I'm able to use the same set of tests to perform this action and not necessarily run a program or an executable, if you will. All right, so it's still generating, but we can at least read what it says. Here's a code snippet that uses Selenium WebDriver to retrieve XML sitemap. Validates each internal link on the page to ensure that they don't return a 404. The code is written using in-unit as the test framework. Note you'll need to have Selenium WebDriver NuGet package installed and how to install it. Got it. All right, so let's go through this set of tests. All right, so we have a text fixture which says sitemap test. We get the Chrome driver, do the setup. We also have a teardown, and we're also using a web client. I'm not sure why I chose web client over HTTP client. All right, so sitemap links. So we're going to the sitemap. We're using web client to download the string, and then we're going to parse the XML, loop through each of the URLs, and use the WebDriver to go to each URL, find all the anchor links rather on a page. I told it to continue. Okay, find all the anchor links on the page and loop through each one to check if it's an internal link, and if it is, get the status and assert that it is not, I guess it's not HTTP not found or something like that. Okay, and then we have below that loop, we have some supporting methods to parse the XML sitemap, to check if the link is internal, and to check the response code for each of the links that are being checked. In this code, test sitemap links method retrieves XML sitemap using web client class, parses the sitemap to extract the URLs and navigates each URL. For each page, it retrieves all anchor elements and checks if the link is internal or external. If it is an internal link, it sends a head request to the URL and checks the response code. If the response code is if the response code is 404, then the test failed with appropriate message. Note that this code is the starting point and may require some adjustments. Of course, that's how always things are. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and we will go back over to Visual Studio Code. I'm actually going to create a new test class. And what did it name this? So it named this sitemap test. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, sitemap test. I'm not going to commit this right away, though, because obviously that is not the ideal name of a test class. Also going to update the namespace here, so almost engr, that is, well, yeah, that's about right, rst.test, and we'll do control dot, because I'm not sure why I added link as a using statement here, but then it says, well, link is not being used. All right, so driver must contain a non-null value when exiting the constructor, so we're going to change this to a nullable property to get rid of those warnings. Web client is obsolete. Okay, so I'm going to copy this message here to ChatGPT and tell it what the IDE said. So we'll copy. I thought I could right click, but I guess I can't. All right, let's see what other errors are in here. Possibly no reference. Okay, so let's put that one in here. Also, yeah, let's start with that. And I probably should have told it that's the message that I got instead of just dropping the message in there, but it may be able to determine what I was saying. From that, you are correct. Web client class is obsolete. It is recommended to use HTTP client. Instead, here's the updated version that uses HTTP client for retrieving the XML sitemap. So that makes sense, that because I did ask that question, why is it not using HTTP client to get it? And apparently it's just using old data to utilize getting pages. Continue generating. But now that we've told it, hey, you probably should really be using HTTP client, then it went back and corrected what it did. All right, so now let's take what it has, come back over here, copy and paste, and let's look through it now. All right, so I got to put those two things back in here because those two things can be nullable. The HTTP client driver, so it actually needs a condition here. Let's undo this. All right, so let's see what it actually gave and utilize what it gave and see if there's any other issues that the IDE may tell us that ChatGPT did not tell us. All right, so the only other error is this right here, which is a out in, it says converting a null literal or possible null value to a non-nullable type. That is a mouthful. All right, so attempt to create the URI from the href. Okay, I don't like using out variables, and I know that's a personal preference, but the reason I rather return a value from a method than to use an out variable to try to get it to do whatever it is you're trying to do. Now, conceptually, a return value and a out variable in some contexts are the same in how they can be utilized. However, if you have multiple things that are being returned, some people suggest that you use a tuple instead of a out variable. I personally lean towards doing the tuple. You could even do a thruple or truple. I don't know, triple. I don't know how you say if there's more than two. That said, though, I would rather use a return value instead of a out value. But like I say, in this particular case, is practically the same or similar in their usage. The only thing is, it's not expecting that to be a null. Everything else in here looks correct. The only thing that I personally do not do is put comments in my code. I ideally write the code the best I can so that it does not utilize or does not require comments. That does require naming variables and functions a particular way so that they make a whole lot more sense. However, I get everybody's not as proficient in their coding and knowing how to write that, so code comments are necessary. That being said, though, I think I'm going to go ahead and ask ChatGPT to take these comments out. In addition to, I also want it to, let's see. So the URL is correct. Get it as a string, parse it, go to each one of the URLs. All right. So a couple of things that it did miss is that it did not maximize the page here. So it's going to the URL, but it's not maximizing the page, which means that the screenshots, if I were to ask it to take screenshots, would be sized however it is sized. Ideally, you maximize the window so that the browser takes up the full screen, and then you get the desktop view of things. However, you can resize it to specific dimensions if you're passing in the Chrome driver options to get it to do a certain thing. All right, so another thing that I don't see is it did not use the Chrome driver path. So I need to also here, so use Chrome driver options. I think this was called Chrome. It may be Chrome options. Let's come back over here to the base class and look at what I have. So Chrome driver path, I think it's, let's do this. New Chrome driver. Yeah, there you go. Control space, Chrome options. All right, so use Chrome options to define the, actually don't tell it that. Define the Chrome driver, the path to Chrome driver is located at almost engineer down, oops, not engineering, /downloads /Chrome driver. Please pass this value into Chrome driver when it is instantiated. I don't know how you instantiate it. There we go. I knew I was missing some letters, but I knew what I was trying to communicate. All right, so we're missing the Chrome driver path. Let's come back once again. Also maximize the window before running any tests. Maximize the window before running or before checking any links on the page. I could also tell it to take screenshots of what the work that it is doing, but I'm not going to do that. All right, so let's come back to the site map test class that it created. I actually probably will change this to tell it to create the name of the test class should be RHT services tests. All right, that's that. What else did I want to point out? Not equal to null. Okay, we got that. Do not include comments in the code. Also, get response status. Test, assert that. Okay. There should also be a try catch block because a Chrome, not a Chrome driver, a Selenium WebDriver exception can be thrown for things that are not found on the page. So I want to say that enclose the for loop that checks the page, that checks each page inside of a try catch block in case a Selenium WebDriver exception is thrown for not finding elements on a page. Let's see what else is in here that may be missing. I also do want to check, come to think of it, some of the I do want to check all of the external links, and so I want to check to make sure that check that each external link contains the target attribute with a value set to _blank. And this makes sure that all my external links actually open up in a new window. And that's something that, while a lot of people don't really take note to, I really want to do that, because that has become more of a industry standard, if you will, that when you are browsing a website and that website opens, when you are browsing a website and you click a link, that link opens in a new tab or new window. That means you're leaving the site that you were previously on and going somewhere else. I want to make sure that that is consistent across the website as well. That said, I want to add that in as conditions here. All right, so I'm going to prefix all of this and say, or ask, please update the tests so that they do the following. All right. And that may take some time for it to render while it does that. So let's jump down and see what it's putting out. Here's the updated code that incorporates the changes that you made or requested. All right, so we still have the setup start maximize. That is a different way of doing that. Normally I would do driver.window.maximize as I did. Where is it? Where'd it go? I know it's in, yeah, driver manage window maximize. I said it wrong. All right, maybe it's driver window manage window on Java, because I used to do Java development before I started doing C#. All right, let's continue generating what it's going to generate. All right, so it's completed everything. Let's start up here at the top. Here's the updated code. I actually need to come back up here and copy this. So copy code, and the text at the bottom says, make sure you update the Chrome driver path variable with the correct path to the Chrome driver executable on your system. I gave it that, so I'm not sure why it said to update that when I gave it what it needed to be. This code now maximizes the browser window before checking the links on each page. It also verifies that each external link contains the target blank attribute. Additionally, a try-catch block has been added to handle any exceptions. And let me know if you need any further assistance. Of course I will, because that's the point of this video. All right, so now that we have our updated test case, let's go back through it again, or test. Well, yeah, it's really a single test, to be honest with you, instead of multiple tests like I initially wanted. All right, so we have the add argument with the Chrome options of start maximize. I'm not sure if this even works. I've never tried it before, but we'll eventually try it and I'll see if it actually does. And if not, I'll fix it. We have the HTTP client sitemap. So we're also doing maximize here inside of each one. Interesting. So I'm not sure why it chose to do Chrome options with the start maximize and then turn around and maximize it here. I guess better safe than sorry, do it twice instead of do it once. I'm not sure about that one. All right, so we're going to the URL that is captured from the sitemap. So we're looping through each of the sitemaps, sitemap URLs, getting the attribute and checking to make sure whether it can, if it's an internal link, if it's not, is internal link not href. Okay, so it's checking to make sure that if it's not an internal link, that it has the link itself has the target attribute equal to blank. And if it doesn't, it will do that. And then it will also check that the internal link did not return a 404. I'm not sure if this is actually what I was looking for. Then also there's an exception. I really want this exception inside, not the exception, the try catch inside of the for loop. Yeah, okay. So I think I really have more so a basis of what I want it to do. There will be a lot more adjustments that I'm going to actually eventually get it to do so that it does exactly what I want it to do. That being said, though, this will wrap things up for this video. Thank you for checking this video out. If you have any comments or questions about Selenium WebDriver, ChatGPT, or web development in general, leave those down below. I do take suggestions for videos, so leave a comment with your suggestion for a future video. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you like learn some. learned something new today and see you in the next video.